Ladies and gentlemen, good morning wherever you are, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to an interview questions and answers. Today we are going to look at how to answer "Tell me about yourself" in an interview. In an interview you attend, there is one question that you never miss out, and that is "Tell me about yourself." In my experience, I have helped a number of people to overcome this question. This question that stresses many professions, even those senior professions. Today I'm going to help you on how you are going to approach this question. The techniques, how you can handle this question, so that you can be able to convince the interviewer that you are right, that you are right person for the job, and even know what you are talking about. And the reason why this question is very important, especially for you. Yes, you are the one to convince the interviewers as a profession, because it is the turn for the interview. If you get this question wrong, then the probability of recovering later on interview is very slim. So this question of "Tell me about yourself," it is done the interview. Why? The interviewers, they have much curiosity to hear from you. That is why, as you begin to introduce yourself, be confident enough, and then you can easily sit as you face them. Yes, don't be shy. Some of the candidates, when it comes to the interview time, they start being shy, they start even fearing, they start losing their confidence, so which is bad. So I'm gonna give you some tips of how you will be answering this question. Even I will give you a sample on how to go this question. If I were on your shoes, how I will go answering this question. But before I give you these tips, I want us to look at why this question really stresses most of us. Why do we fear this question, even if we know that like the question of how much do you want to be paid? We sure do expect this question, and yet it stresses us much. So the first reason why majority of the professions are stressed by this question is that you don't know what to focus on. That is number one. You are wondering, Paminas has asked me, tell me about yourself. So you are still in dilemma. Do I talk about my professional life? You are asking yourself. Or do I talk about my personal life? Still you are asking yourself. Then The other reason why you might be getting fearful is that when asked this question is because you don't know how much to say. Yes, you are still in dilemma. You don't know if you are going to clarify or to explain the entire CV. That is why you have to first ask those questions. You don't know how much to say. So whenever I'm coaching candidates, whenever I'm guiding my colleagues, senior professions, they normally asked me permanence. Am I required to talk for 1 minute? Now they are consulting. Am I required to talk for 1 minute? 2 minutes? Do I talk? Do I go talking until 5 minutes are over? So again, that is also a main concern to each and every candidate. I will help you to know how much time should you spend on each and every question as you clarify, as you explain to the interviewers. You know, enough when do you get to see that you have given enough information. And lastly, there is also the issue of do I repeat what is in my CV? Yes, you are still facing some problems. Do I repeat what is in my CV? Do I just talk about what is in my mind? What is in my CV, I have seen many candidates, many friends of mine who come to the interview room and they already have a copy of their CVs. So do I refer to the CV or do I tell them whatever comes to my mind? So those are the challenges you might be facing, and I will help you answer those ones. I will help you answer those ones. I will give you clarity. Yes, I will have to clarify more about those many questions which you might be facing. On where I should be able to focus on. So having understood what stresses you when it comes to this interview, then the question is, how do you approach this question? How do you begin answering this question? How do you start answering this question? If you have an interview coming up next week, or even maybe could be hearing this because you have an interview coming up in the next few hours. How do you answer this question? Yes. How do you approach this question as you are preparing an interview for next few hours? How do you prepare this question? How do you approach this question? Now, what you need to know is that just like any other presentation, you should always have an introduction. Yes, people, as you prepare handling this question, Don't be scared. Just organize yourself and then prepare as you prepare other presentations. For example, you start an introduction. Yes. Have a body and also have a conclusion. So for this question, then, what is the introduction? Yes, you may wonder, how can you format an introduction? How can you build a body? And how can you conclude? I'm going to tell you each and every approach so that you cannot be stuck. For the introduction, pay attention on this. For the introduction, you state your name. You only mention your names. Then you mention your qualifications. Yes. So if I were in your shoes, I would say, thank you for inviting me for this interview. My name, yes, you mention your names. And also, I have a master's degree in project management or in any other field. And also, I have higher diploma from this, in this. And I have also undertaken some financial management courses. So I'm a certified public accountant. You are clarifying your qualification, remember? Yes. You just state your name and then your qualification. You don't have to say where you got these qualifications. You don't even have to state the years. You may ask yourself why. Why not telling them where I got those qualifications from? Wait, I'm going to tell you the reasons why you cannot tell them each and every thing. Why? Because the person, there is some reasons. Number one, the person interviewing, they already have that information in your CV. They have been looking at your CV, then having stated that, then you go to the body. After giving your names, you have stated your names, your qualifications, and then you can easily start clarifying your body. Your body. Yes. Body, this is where you spend time. As you clarify body is where you will be able to clarify more. Is where you will be able to convince the interviewers. Yes. You may think about, or you may wonder, things to talk about in your body. Things to talk about on your body. What do you talk about? So there are two things. We have the main things, two things, which are the main ones to talk about here. There are two approaches here you can easily focus on. Number one, your work experience matters a lot. Your work experience matters a lot. So you are talking about your work experience. There are two ways to go about it. Yes, there are two ways to go about it. So if you have been in one industry or one company, one sector. So for example, let's say you have been working as an HR manager throughout, then I will tell the interviewer for the last 7 years, I have been working as an HR manager, professional, and I talk about training, I can talk about recruitment, I can talk about performance management, yes, and other. If it is an accountant, I'm interviewing a senior accountant, they can talk about budgeting, they can talk about costing, they can talk about financial analysis, they can talk about financial reporting, all those kind of things. You have to clarify by convincing the interviewers. Okay? So you are stating, you are summarizing the skills that you gained within that period of time. There is also the other aspect where you could have worked. Yes, if you may have somewhere you have been working before you become an HR, you can easily clarify. That is a part of experience, work experience. In different industries, and they have all given you different experiences. So if that is the case, then for your body, for your experience, you talk now about the experience that is relevant. You cannot just talk anything which is not related to that very job which you are going to have, that which you are facing, which you are doing as an interview in that very moment. You have to relate the experience you gained from those previous companies and then you relate that very job. Yes, okay? Relevant to the job that you have already being interviewed. So you can say, when I was working for this organization, for that organization, for the 3 years I was there, I was involved in A, B, C, D, you mentioned. So those are the two approaches. Either give a summary of your work experience, either, or you may give a summary of your skills set, or pick the organizations that are relevant to the job that you are being interviewed. This is where you spend the time. This is where you expound as much as possible. If you are talking about work experience, then you are talking about things you have done that are similar to the job that you are being interviewed for that very moment. So before you even enter, take care on this. Before you even enter in that room, that interview room, you must have looked at, you have to go through the job descriptions, advert, and really internalized it so that you really understand what they are looking for. So after you say that, then you conclude. Yes, it is much better to go through job description before you attend even an interview. After you say that, then you conclude. So remember, I said you have the introduction. Yes, as I said, as you introduce yourself, you must have some three main parts: introduction, body, and conclusion. And then here, I am talking about as you conclude. So remember, I said you have the introduction where you state your name and your qualifications, and then the body where you talked about your work experience, either in summary form or you broken into down to only those companies or institutions that are similar to what you are being interviewed in that very moment. And then you conclude, and the conclusion just what you need to do as you are concluding. My friends, as you conclude, just only thank the interviewer. You have to thank the interviewer. And if you have the confidence, yes, it is sure you must have a confidence. You can even tell them what interests them, what interested you in this job that you are being interviewed. Yes. For answering that question is as simple as that. You don't need to go to a lot of details. Remember, this question is just an eye opener. Yes, it is the same case if you meet me somewhere, is maybe in town and other. We have talked for the last 3 months. I will ask you how has been, leave it. I will easily ask you how has been live. Does it mean now you tell me permanent seat? No. Let me tell you, this is what has been happening. For example, my sister is doing this. Yes, these are the challenges I'm facing. No, you will nobody say things are okay. I'm trying my best. It doesn't take more than a minute. But maybe if it is a closer friend,